evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Grafton Cable Television Oversight Committee. And we are going out of order. The lovely and talented Andy Duchesne, who did just yeoman's work in getting us into our new space, is here to give us an update as to the trials and tribulations and the successes and continuances of all of that move. Go.
Thank you. Good evening.
Can you just move that microphone in front of you, please?
Certainly will. Good evening, everybody. I'm just here to give you, a relatively brief update on where we are. In terms of costs, we've got the cost summary up there, where we had a budget of $1.1 million, and we're just below that still. It's been a good balance of some credits, some things we didn't need to spend money on, a few extra things that we did spend money on, and as we discussed earlier, I think there are a handful of things that maybe come under the heading of things that maybe the design team could have done better that cost us some money. But at the end of the day, we're looking good in terms of costs. I'm happy with the quality. I think what we put in there is good. I'm really happy with the project as a whole. I mean, I just look at that building and think, what else could have gone in there? And this just seems to be a perfect fit. So I'm really just pleased from an adaptive reuse position in the town that this is, I think we've really done a good thing. We've taken a sort of a questionable asset and made it into something really good. In terms of where we are with the project, we've got a couple of things left to do before we are finally complete, including a fire alarm test. So later this week, we're going to do a pre-test. They're going to do sort of the final connections for a fire alarm. And then after that, we'll schedule the final test. And at that point, we should be, I think, reasonably complete and be able to get our, get this completely closed out.
Those leaks there, those were identified and resolved, right?
They were identified and they are being resolved, yes. Yep, there were a couple of leaks up in the roof, and we pinpointed those right away, fixed those, and there are a couple of things on the exterior of the building that were found as well, and we're in the process of making sure those don't come back.
Yeah. I had an opportunity to spend some time with the supervisor of the highway department this afternoon.
Yes.
I told him that we had our consultant was concerned about the signs, and he told me that, well, gee, the guy that does the signs is not going to be here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I said, so what about Tuesday? So he said he'll get to them just as soon as he can. The concern, of course, as Bob brought up, is that once the kids come back, and we don't want to see them flood into our spots there.
Right.
So we'll try to, I'll be assured that I'll stay on him.
He and I had a lively discussion about that, and a robust exchange of ideas and words, and I'm sure that that's going to get resolved pretty quickly. I actually put together a quick map for him showing. The DPW built. They made 3 signs for us already. We just need 1 more, and I just sent him a map this afternoon showing where those 4 signs should go, so they can locate them. And I think that's going to happen tomorrow. He's a good guy.
Yes, he's a great guy.
So those are parking?
Those are, GCTV parking only signs. And we wanted to get those in before school came back, and we're also going to work on getting the parking lot restriped and getting the handicap parking spot restriped as well. It doesn't say that, but I think that's the inference, right? If it's GCTV parking only, we wanted to have something so that the police could take action if it was necessary, but we needed to be able to post something.
Yeah.
I don't remember whether we included a sign on the building.
We did not.
Because I've been imagining, imagining GraftonTV.org up there, but unfortunately, no longer.
We knew that was coming, though, so. We knew that was coming, so. But
No,
go ahead.
we didn't.
Oh, well, we did, but go ahead. Do we have a sign outside?
We don't. Nope, we don't have a sign as part of the project right now. We do have, well, it's Bob's, it's your money. We're still under budget, so.
So we budgeted $1.1 million for this project. As you can see with this screen, we're not there, but we're really close.
Right.
We still have some more bills that are coming in that Andy has not captured.
Yeah.
We have some masonry repair. We have some other items included in our agenda tonight that we're gonna throw in there. And it can be the sign.
But, yeah, I think that's, as I think you're alluding to, that's something that we probably want to start keeping a list of, like a wish list.
Well, we have it. We, Bob and I have been working on a punch list and a wish list, but the sign is part of the project. So before we close this project out, and because we have a special account for this project, 1.1 million, and we were waiting for the end to see how much money we really wanted to spend on the signage. Now, we can put a sign on the building. We can also put a sign in between those two trees that we just, cleared up a little bit, kind of match what the police station did. We can get prices on that. It's going to happen before we finally sign off and say that building's now 100% complete. Because that's our number up there that we're at.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem going to the 1.1, but as soon as we're done with the project, that's it. We're no longer going to that account.
But this isn't going to interfere with our being officially able to go into the building.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
A sign is luxury.
Yeah.
We have a little sign on the door or on one window that says GCTV. We have a sign in a window that says
Yeah.
26 Providence Road. Signage, we're all set on that. But this is just for aesthetics.
Yeah.
You want it to just pop. And we're not popping right now, but we're going to get to that point probably once we're done with our complete checklist and everything else is done. That's the last low-hanging fruit that we have to grab.
Would they be illuminated
No,
externally?
no.
No, not in the parking lot. That was a problem. A line got cut, couldn't find it. So the parking lot's not gonna be lit.
Were you talking about the parking lot or were you talking about the sign?
The sign.
The sign,
We could light the sign.
yeah.
We could if we wanted to.
Remind me, when it was a police station, did it have like metal letters on the wall or did it have an actual sign?
There were a lot of holes there.
They were cut, there were separately cut
Yeah.
letters.
Yeah, and that's what I've always envisioned.
Yeah, that's on
Say
the
Grafton,
building.
well, now it's Grafton Television, I guess.
But on the front of the building or the,
Yeah, up across the top.
but I mean, there's also one by the roadside too. That's just a regular
That's
sign.
not, well, that's okay, but that's probably more expensive, although those cut-out letters aren't necessarily cheap. Any idea what it would cost?
Nope, easy enough to get quotes both ways,
Sure.
though. It doesn't cost anything to get quotes.
Right.
Could
But
you
we
do that? Can you do that?
We can, yeah,
Okay.
sure. Yeah, we can look at two different ways.
Just, the signs on the building we were just leaving, we just bought out of our budget. And of course, they were less money, but it wasn't didn't have to be part of,
Right, but that's another discussion we'll have later on
yeah,
through this
but
agenda.
it's not that we don't have that possibility.
We're gonna talk about that later.
Well, whether we exercise it, we have it.
All right,
still
well,
gonna
we'll get to that. Like, I want to get Andy so he can go home and spend time with his family.
That's really about it. We do have a couple of pieces of furniture that we're waiting on. So there was a chair that came in that was broken. It happens. And there was the conference room table. The installers actually broke it. So we're waiting for those. Right? That happens too, unfortunately. So we're waiting for those to come in. Again, in the next couple of weeks, I think we should see those come in. The conference table might be another week after that. And
Pay
then,
extra for Bob's mahogany desk?
no, absolutely not.
Oh, got a good price.
And then because of the leak we had through the exterior wall, some carpet tile got wet. I was going to replace that carpet tile this morning and realized that the only spare carpet tile we have is a different color that's used in the offices, not in the lobby area, in the waiting area. So we just the general contractor just ordered us new carpet tile today. I'll find out when they've got a due date for that, and we'll get that and put that back in. That's an hour's worth of work, so not a big deal.
And the other thing that we have to do is mount the monitors and mount the TVs. Do we have to buy TVs?
We don't have to buy
Do we
TVs.
have two matching TVs?
We don't have
for the
any
control
matching,
room?
we have 3 random TVs.
You have 3 random TVs for the front.
Right.
So I suggest we buy 3 matching TVs.
Yeah.
for the front.
Those aren't expensive.
To what end?
This is so we can see the government, educational,
When
and
people
community
first walk in
channels.
the vestibule, you'll
Yeah.
have your 3 channels right up.
What size?
Weren't you saying we were gonna get 3? You,
I don't know what size.
that was the plan. Okay.
That's something I think could go on a wish list.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be on the wish list, but it's gonna be before we close the project out, because that's,
Well, yeah,
it's coming out of that fund.
yeah.
It's relative, those are relatively short money for 3 monitors, and they really are the first thing you're gonna see when you walk through the
Yeah.
door.
Yeah.
Probably 30-inch, what do you
I'd say
think?
40s.
We'd have to, I think, we'd have to measure it just to make sure we
How
know
much room do you
what,
have?
what the max and minimum we could do, but,
Yeah.
Do we have internet?
yep,
Yes.
We don't have cable, but we have.
We don't have cable.
it's
You
coming.
don't have cable for either company?
No, we have Verizon right now.
I was told you didn't have Verizon, you had Charter,
Nope.
No.
We have Verizon, we're waiting for Charter.
because that'll come up later on another
Yep,
agenda. item.
Charter's coming in.
Yeah, well, okay.
Okay.
All right, anything else for Andy? Anyone?
That's it for me.
Oh, tomorrow night won't be as easy.
Yes, I'm expecting that. Thank you.
All right, Andy, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
very
Thank you,
much for
Andy.
making time
Thanks.
available
Enjoy.
for us and all your work. We really appreciate it.
Well, you know, honestly, happy to do it. This was a really fun project. It's, like I said, it's really, as a citizen
Yeah.
in town, really pleasant to be part of something like this and to see, like I said, a kind of an oddball building find exactly the right tenant. So, fun to be part of it. Happy
And
to
it's
do
a
it.
good crowd for you to associate with, except for Jack. Well. But,
All right, have a good night, everybody.
thank you. Okay, meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
I move we accept the minutes from July
15th.
2019.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, treasurer's report. Bobby B.
That's me. Okay. So, I have this up on the screen. It's gonna be interesting this year, because the reports, the management reports we get from Anita are kind of difficult to read, so I'm going back to old school. So we got $313,000 to run our department, all right? You have over here is our revenue. I'm not done with the revenue yet, because, you know, there's been all sorts of back and forth of what payments we got. So that's not even adding up to this line here, which is what we're gonna see go down every month, because that started with 313. This is the payroll for the people that work at the studio. That's this section right here. These are warrants for pay. And this one over here is how much we're spending on services that are rendered. So I'm gonna give you every month a tally of where we stand on our expenditures that's taking into account our budget is $313,000. So right now, today, we have $296,000 and change that we have available for us. Here is the revenues. I'm not done putting this together. Bob, do they go, I know it's a mess, but I'm gonna figure it out. Do they go calendar or fiscal?
They,
They as Verizon and Charter.
it's just quarterly. I'm not sure what,
Well, quarterly, does it start on January, the first quarter, 3 months into that, or does it start?
no,
In July.
The period, that's why I've been writing it the way I've been writing it. CY 2019 Q1, that's calendar year, year one, because it doesn't distinguish. We've gotten quarter one and quarter two so far. We get the money, I think it's 2 months after the end of the quarter, if I'm not mistaken. well, 2.5 months by the
Can
time
you,
we get
can
done.
you produce that on paper, because he'll need that for his minutes.
Sure.
Thank you.
So what I have here on the screen, which I'm gonna start ripping apart and putting back together, is these are our payments that we've been getting. This is 2018, which brings us into, you know what? I've gotta dive into this a lot better for the next meeting. I just started figuring out with Bill, with your emails, on what's really going on. I know how much we get every year, but we have to have the tracking and the backup to go with it to make sure the $69,000 or $72,000 per quarter is what they really owe us. But I want to do a better job of reporting what we're getting to this committee. Right now, it's kind of a free-for-all of the information that I'm getting. It's all here. It's all right in this folder here, cable, financial information. I just gotta sort it all out. I have to sort this document out because we weren't getting the breakdown. We were just getting, like, here's a deposit slip right here. August 18th, 2015. Actually, this shows me nothing. It wasn't a good one to pick. But you understand what I'm saying. I can't really give much information.
Well, let's
on
just
this.
reserve opinion on that till next month.
But is everybody satisfied on the procedure that I'm going with on breaking down all the payments, all the warrants, so you can see them?
Yes.
Because remember, we
Yeah.
have only 313,000, just like a regular town
Yeah.
department. If we feel that we need more money, we can ask the town to give us more money. It's not coming out of their money, it's still coming out of the 29 account, but we're going to have to ask for it before we can utilize it. You understand that on that side of the table, correct? Okay, I don't
All right.
know if they do or don't.
Couple of things. When do we expect to first have to make a bond payment?
Soon,
That's, okay.
soon, and Anita and I have been talking about it.
And how much will it be?
Well, it's $138,000 a year.
All right.
So divide that,
$35,000.
right, so it was like,
A
do I
quarter.
give them
Quarter.
do I give
that
them
in his head.
$134,000 right now? No.
No,
I
no, no.
don't wanna do that.
But you're
Because
asking about.
we have, basically in our account right now, in our 29 account, we have, and I don't have the exact figure, Anita's not in, and I think there's another payment that came in. There's $175,000 in there, plus another 70,000 that has not got applied yet, because it hasn't made its way through the departments. So we probably have close to $250,000 back in our account. Remember, we went from 900,000
Yeah,
down to now 250,000 because we threw $500,000 in there and we bond 600.
yeah.
I mean, it's big financials going on right now. This is the first.
They're all well spent, though. It's money well spent.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Look at everything we've done in
Yeah.
this town. But this is the first year that we've actually had a budget that we have to adhere to.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of money in our reserves, but we're telling the townspeople, and it's not the townspeople's money, it's the cable's 5% that's funding this whole organization. I just want to keep on reiterating that, is we said we were going to only spend 313, and that's what I'm trying to keep us
Yeah.
to do.
All right.
Okay.
What's the procedure if we want to draw more money out?
At our special town meeting.
Okay, it's town meeting.
It's town meeting. And we have to tell them why, and they have to vote to approve it. And I'm sure if something came up, we would get it approved, because we're gonna tell, look, we need a new camera, we need this, we need that. And it's not coming out of
Yeah.
your
Revenue.
tax money.
Yeah.
It's coming out of the franchise money.
The-
And then
the-
we'd have to explain why we're here.
Yeah, that's the trick, is at town meeting, people are gonna need some help to understand that this isn't money out of their pocket.
We'll make a video.
But the other thing is, I have my own way of tracking this I've been doing for, I don't know, 10 years or so. You know, you've seen some of the printouts. There's been some question just lately whether I'm gonna continue to get the information so I can do that. I wanna be sure that,
You're getting the information.
no, well.
You're getting the
there was
information
I
through.
think you were included on an email recently. That, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Well, what?
I don't know.
No, it's, one of the pieces of information, this is part of going around with Bill August and Verizon and all that.
Yeah.
The backup information I discovered is now being, it started not appearing. Bill's, we needed to get it for Bill. And that was part of the correspondence about we're not getting it. And they came back, they're sending it to the BOS group, email group, which I'm not part of. So somebody needs to be sure that they're sending it to me. It used to be that Cindy got it, and she sends me that, and she sends me those she's been sending me
Yeah.
those deposit tickets, and I want to be sure that I do.
She's been sending that stuff to me, and whatever I get from her, I copy to the board.
Yeah.
So if Cindy.
But she, going back, she sent it to me, and she used to send it, I think, to
Mark.
Mark.
That's
I'll
right.
be assured that whatever I get from Cindy, I turn it right around.
Yeah, but you're not on the BOS group, so there has to be someone in between who's, and just
And I
as
got one
long
more
as,
thing.
Okay,
because I keep an eye on all of it, and,
okay.
So on the screen right here is 2019, and I still want to take it apart and put it back together. These are our revenues that came in for that calendar year, all right, which brought us up to $305,811. So these are the numbers that we're playing with. That's 1, 2, 3. That's 4 quarters. This here was something that should have been up in here. This is where we started getting shorted a payment.
Yeah.
Maybe 10% or some crazy thing like that.
except we have an explanation if we take it up on.
Right. So that's what I want to track a little bit better, but my spreadsheet should look almost like that when we're done with the year.
Okay,
Okay?
Thank
All
you.
right, that's my report, and I'm sticking to it.
thank you. Any,
Actually, I'm not sure whether it is separately on the agenda, but we're still, Bill August is still, well,
yeah, he's under old business.
under old business, under which
I'll
one?
let you know. 'Cause I made some notes, and I'll know what I meant then.
Well, anyway, it's just,
Okay.
the mysterious 10% payments, I don't think that got reported last time. We were getting like 68,000, and then we got 6,800. That's because the new license that was not shared with this committee before it was approved by the selectmen, and I don't know that it's been formally shared with us even now, has a strange thing. Instead of, normally you get a capital, besides your 5%, in a new license, you get some capital, like $100,000, maybe divided up 2 or 3 ways over years. This license is different, and we get payment as capital of like 10% of, well, of a 0.5% of gross revenues, like the 5%. It's the same, it's the same number moved over one when we see the checks. And that's where that was, we got the explanation and we figured
But,
it
and
out.
you're controlling that, right? So we're really not owed anything, right, Bob?
I don't know.
No, we're
But you're
okay.
watching it,
We're watching it.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's okay, but there were some problems in the backup information that, like, they had adjustments and they just deducted money.
Yeah.
And they don't tell us what the
Don't tell what they
adjustments
were.
are, and Bill wanted to know what that was. And there was another thing, I've forgotten exactly,
All right,
but
well, let's-
I know, well, not getting the backup information so that it shows that the documents, how much money we ought to get. They show us what their gross revenues were and what they deduct off of it for things, and,
So just like a snow job. Yeah, find the
We're
money.
on tape.
Where's Wall? I don't worry about the tape.
If you
But,
read,
thinking of the
Bill,
tape, with Jack leaving the room, this would be a good time to everybody change seats and just screw with them.
yeah,
Okay. Maybe not.
if you read Bill's letters, we have a little different tone that we take with
Yeah.
the providers when it's Bill.
Very good. All right, our next meeting is September 16th, and I just point this out, I'm going to be away the first 2 weeks in September, so I will not be available for the preparation for the meeting, like asking if anyone has agenda items and things like that. So Rick is going to handle that, and then he may not be here on the 16th. So if he's here, he'll prepare for the meeting and run it, and if he's not here, then he'll prepare for the meeting and I'll run it. All right?
You'll be here?
I plan to be here, right. I come back the 14th. All right, the moving punch list. We're good on that, are we? Did he? No, he just said, Andy just said that there were stuff on there. Do you want to fill us in on any of that?
I don't know if I'm gonna repeat what he already told you. Let me take a look, hold on. Some of these things Bob raised an issue with, some of them Andy may have already spoken about. So they're not in any particular order. We continue to have audio issues with the 3 PEG channels with Charter. Government channel is the strongest feed, public channel is a little below it, and educational channel is the most quiet. I had a lengthy conversation with Marty Feldman this afternoon, and they are happy to help us troubleshoot that with the help of Charter, but until we get a Charter feed into the building, we don't have any way of
Yeah.
testing and/or verifying in the same breath, so to speak. So that's one of the first big ones.
Do you have a time frame on that, by the way?
I'll get to that.
All right.
We've had some audio issues from the studio to live broadcast. National Night Out and the most recent Geezers episode. Streaming comes through flawlessly, sounds perfect. Audio going out to the live channels, again, on Charter, not so good. The recording had to be boosted considerably to bring it up to a level where somebody could actually hear it without straining. Bob's issue about Verizon aspect ratio. Again, during the conversation with Marty Feldman this afternoon, he said that they had been in contact with the Verizon techs, and, well, everybody else does it one way, but you can do it whatever way you want. So Marty gave me the contact, the email address for the Verizon representative, shot him off a little email asking him to boost us up to 16:9, which is what Bob wants to see. He said, no problem, we'll take care of that, maybe Friday afternoon. And then the next paragraph says, while we're there, we'll probably install the equipment for your HD channel. So he went into a description of how they would install the equipment and then do a slow release. They install the equipment, do what they have to do there in the server room, go back to the hub, do some more magic behind the scenes, and then eventually get ready to do a release to the public so that they know it's coming, and then assign it a channel. So it sounds like he's thinking in terms of, once the equipment is installed down there, maybe 2 weeks.
Excellent.
Cross your fingers.
It-
Go ahead.
But wanted to, if you're done with aspect ratio, or that one.
They said that they would be happy to give us what we requested, and their only caution was that, in their experience, things get chopped off to the left and to the right of the screen.
Yeah, well,
So-
okay, I'm not, they may be gonna do something different, something I might like, from the sound of that, although I'm not sure. Something changed between 296 Providence Road and
Yeah, and
Whatever
they
we are,
they
24.
acknowledge that, right? They acknowledge that,
Hold on.
right?
I asked them that.
I
Yeah,
got.
I'm sorry, they acknowledge that, though, right?
Who? No. No one that I heard about.
I
but
asked that question
Yeah.
that Bob wanted to know. I asked that question. I said, we had conditions one way prior to the move, then we moved, and conditions have changed. Okers or ISG says, we did everything we were supposed to do, we didn't do it. Verizon says, we did everything we were supposed to do, we didn't change.
But does everybody know what the issue is? How many people see our access channels on Verizon?
Yeah.
One, two, three, four. And I'm surprised that no one has commented, shows you how much we watch the channel, or else it's different at my house than it is at your house, or different on my particular TV. It used to be on my 16:9
Yeah.
screen, our picture, because it's a standard definition channel, has pillar bars on the sides. Now, we, down there, also had letterbox
That's what
bars.
I'm getting is letterbox.
Letterbox bars, so that the picture that remained in the middle of my screen was 16:9. Now, I'm getting no letterbox bars, and it's, so you see our picture, the full height, which means that everything is squished.
Right, so if I'm getting it and you're not, what does that tell us?
It has some, that may be something in what's being sent out. There are little bits of information, digital information in
Right.
the signal, which tell television sets about
What's the
things like
signal is,
aspect
yeah.
ratios and all of that. And it could be either Verizon is doing something different, or it could be, we have little boxes, as I recall, in between the server and the cable companies that actually did that manipulation. And they may not, there may be a bit different somehow.
But how do you rationalize that I'm getting
I can't.
widescreen
I
and
can't.
you're not?
Let me
No,
jump,
you're-
let me jump in and continue the conversation.
Oh, I thought you were done, sorry.
No, I got lots of information.
All right, let us know when you're done.
So on the day that the Verizon technician came, installed the service, fired up the box, we plugged in the biggest and largest TV we have, the one that's on the rolling cart. And as soon as the connection was finished, the screen is full. I even took pictures of it. It's from the edge of the screen on both sides and to the edge of the screen, top and bottom.
On the 16:9, coming
So now-
back over Verizon.
Coming from the Verizon cable box. So, when we go to lesser quality boxes, which we did the other day, not so much. You have to manipulate the TV screen. So, when I asked the technician, so what's going on? I said, why do we have a member of the committee that is not happy with the picture, yet we're standing here looking at this picture, and it's filling the frame? So, he again held the party line and said that we've changed nothing, we've removed nothing, everything is the same. And his reaction was, it's gotta be the settings in the TV. When I had the conversation with Marty and I presented Bob's story, it was one way before a move, it's a different way after we move. And all the parties involved say nothing changed. So,
He said, she said.
yeah, pretty much. So, we're hoping that when the Verizon tech comes and does whatever he has to do in the cabinet and forces it out to 16:9,
But
Bob
we're
will-
not replicating Bob's problem.
we can't, I can't be 100% certain is the reason why that screen is filled is because it's just a nice TV.
Yeah,
And I went into the settings to see how many different settings are there? There's only 3. 16:9, 4:3, and
Yeah.
custom. And I didn't even look at custom. But the moment he plugged the cable in, it went boom and filled the screen. So if Bob continues to have an issue, and it sounds like he does, the technician will hopefully solve that when he comes into the server room and flips the switch and sends it out to 16:9.
what else we got?
Well, let me say something here. I think my TV's having the same problem as Bob.
If you're seeing bars on the side, then you got the
Well,
same.
Barbara said to me, because she watched the geezers, because I haven't looked at it since then, that our faces look squished. Okay, so I'm assuming that's the same problem.
Yay,
you
it's
have.
not just me.
Okay,
So-
so I'm gonna go through the list. We're trying to track down a conference call with the government rep, John Marr, to find out what's taken so long to get our services installed down at the building. The number one issue, in my opinion, is that when we talk to customer service, who was very helpful and very polite, the minute you say to them, it's the PEG access channel, I can see their eyes glazing over,
Yeah.
and they don't know what to do. So when they call us, when I answer the phone, they have a customer service rep from the business side of the charter call me. And then when I explain to them that it's PEG access for Grafton, then they say, oh, well, that's gonna be our courtesy account. Great, we have an answer. Problem is, they don't know who handles courtesy accounts.
They get lost.
They get lost. And everything comes to
That's the
screeching
problem
halt.
I've been having with
So,
my phone.
then when they ask, questions, I say, look, you're asking questions that I probably can't answer for you, but I'm willing to bet our government service rep could probably do
Yes.
that. And they go, oh, okay, and I give them the name and the contact, and they say, great, and then a couple of weeks will go by, and I'm expecting a new phone call any day now from somebody different. But we're trying to get this call through to John to find out, how do we push this through? We call Verizon, and we get something like that.
Yeah.
We call Charter,
Not
and
so
it's like
much.
pulling teeth. Signs for the parking lot, he already talked about. Carpet tiles, he talked about. We have leftover flooring tiles and other materials from the general contractor that need to be moved up to the mezzanine, out of sight, out of mind,
That's why
kinda.
God gave us Jack.
And, what's that?
That's why God gave us Jack.
Yeah, because I'm not doing it. He mentioned the chair, he mentioned the conference room table, he mentioned the alarm. HVAC noise. In the office that I occupy, the HVAC noise sounds like a 747 taking off, and it's ridiculous. So, that's the list I put together. Like I said, some of them line up with what Andy said, a lot of them are technical. Are you signal? Oh. So, that's all I have.
Oh,
Is the eight-
He's next.
No, he was just waiting.
No, I didn't want to interrupt you. So, what wasn't mentioned is Stuart from CDA came out.
That's it.
He's our technical engineer, and I have 40 items, no, I have 37 items that need to be addressed for the electronic equipment.
Okay.
And it goes as far as where are the as-bills, we need the as-bills so I can review them, Stuart, and make sure that they're acceptable, so we have a document. The rack is cut down very nice, but nothing's really labeled. He wants everything labeled. And all the miscellaneous items that you and I would not think about, well, I probably would, but you guys wouldn't. He has down in this list that is going to Marty and Gary and all the other people. Everybody has something to do. So we're far from done.
But
on
we've
the
got a
electronics.
control.
Oh, we definitely have it under control.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bob?
Just about the HVAC, is that just in one place?
Yeah.
Huh.
The
Because
studio's fine.
Mostly I wanted to be sure that we're not having any noise out in the studio.
Nope.
But I
Studio's
want
fine.
to, work, so is that just something about the vent or the venting?
When the HVAC technicians were there, they said, we figured it out, we know what to do. Okay, we're on it. And I thought that meant they were gonna fix
Yeah.
it,
Okay. But somehow it's just the one room?
just the one room.
Gotta
Stuart,
have beer with the blower.
Stuart said the decibel levels in the studio are
Right
where they
on.
need to be.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
All right, so, based on everything that we know right now, as far as where we are right now, we're really not in particularly bad shape at all, I think.
No.
And it seems like the things where we're less than pleased, it sounds like that there's a plan in place to address them. So as long as we don't lose control of that, I think that's good.
We're delivering all our signals to the customers. We're able to do both recorded and live from the studio. And all of the returns from other buildings are working as they did before.
Yeah,
That's what's important.
that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, if the break room weren't quite right, it'd be all right.
Yeah.
All right, the other
Noise
item,
in his office, I don't know.
the other item we had under this was charter support personnel.
I think that's,
Yeah, that's me. Give me a minute.
oh,
So I talked to John. John's our government representative,
charter representative?
charter representative.
Yeah.
And they do not want Chris in that building. They don't want Chris in a building that they don't control. So as it stands, and I've tried putting several calls into Chris. Chris is not answering the phone down there. So I have not been able to actually talk to Chris, but Bob and I have talked, and what we have right now that we're going to get for our conference call is we need some questions answered. We need a 911 number if we have an emergency. Who do we call? We need technical support and help, maybe 4 or 5 times a year on town meeting. You know, when we're doing
Yeah.
shoots out not in the studio. Who's going to be putting on the producers' courses? I thought we had one more, Bob,
Christmas open house.
in Christmas open house. These are the questions we're putting forward to John, our government representative, right now. Now, you know that we're going and we're starting negotiating for the new license agreement. So I didn't know if we wanted to bring this up now, where, you know, we're going into negotiations, and start this conversation and/or argument, because they just don't want a charter employee in a government building.
Do you
So,
think they're trying to use any of this as a bargaining chip?
I don't know. I really don't know. But, you know, on the other hand, I don't know how many other towns have a Chris that's dedicated 40 hours a week. You know, I don't know. I mean, I think if we get our questions answered for the 911s and who teaches the course and other technical support, I think we're probably gonna be fine with what we're trying to do right now. And then in negotiations, let's see what they say come September.
Well, let me ask this question, and let me word it very carefully. Since we've been on the air at the new location, have we had a situation where anyone said, gee, I wish Chris was here?
I can't answer that. That's Bob. Bob's in charge of the studio.
The only one I could think of is, I would say, probably the audio issue, but other than that,
So far, so good.
if the audio issue is not the responsibility of Okers, and we're not getting any complaints about audio from Verizon, we're only getting them from Charter, so if Okers stands firm and says it's not our fault, we didn't do it, and we have had audio issues in the past, where Chris has had conversations with the gentleman up at the head end, and they have made adjustments at the head end, and the problem goes away.
But if you can't even,
Goes
if
away.
you don't have a 911 number, you've lost that connection.
Well, we would never call the head end directly.
No, but I mean, you call someone to call the head end if you can't reach
Yeah,
him.
yeah, you'd call the dispatch
Yeah.
center, yeah. But one of the questions that we have to check with John Marr is, are we calling the same number, or are we calling a different place?
All right.
I have a question. As of right now, Chris is spending 40 hours a week down in South Grafton. Are we being charged for that?
Probably.
Yeah.
Are we being still charged for that rent? Are
And-
we being still charged for the electricity, the phone, everything?
Yes, and that's why way back, I said, we gotta work on it, we gotta get this resolved as part of this process, so that when we get to now, we're not paying two
Well,
sets,
I think
and
if
it
you-
hasn't been
If you look at
done.
every set of agendas, this has been discussed in every
Right,
single
and
meeting.
no one is no one is negotiating with Charter to come to a closure on the situation that we're leaving the building
I
down
did.
there, and we don't need
I
it
did.
anymore.
I did when I first
I
started
don't know,
this
that's
game.
true, yeah.
Yeah.
I did when I first started this game.
And?
They did not sign another 2-year lease.
Yep.
Their lease is up in October. And as soon as their lease is done in October, then we're gonna stop being charged for the rent, and we're gonna capture more of that money. That's the agreement I made with Tom.
That money's not gonna be deducted from what they send us.
That's right.
But what about Chris's money?
That's not gonna be deducted from, that's no longer going to be taxed on us,
Because he's not here.
because he's not here. So we're gonna have to wait it out till October. That's the best I could do.
They just wouldn't give you any other options.
Well, if they say they don't want him in a town government building, then
And we're still under contract till that date, so.
well, they could say, this is your studio we're giving you.
We're,
You're the ones that moved.
yeah. No,
I'm not the chair, I can't recognize you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna simply say that, the charter doesn't want, one of their employees working in one of our government buildings. If I recall, the studio was in a government building at
Yes.
one point.
Nope.
Yes, it was.
And
You can
Oh,
say that all you want.
at one point it was in history. Further, there have been many times that we've done remote shoots, One Grafton Common and other places and so forth, where we've had this person representing us or supporting us in those locations as well, whether it be at the high school or wherever it is. The point is that they're there to assist and help with what we needed. And this is just another building for this person to be assisting and helping with. I fail to see how it's any different from what we've had in the past. They just don't like the idea that we're wanting to use them in this new building. But I don't see any difference in what we've done in the past with what we plan on doing for the short term in the future.
So in your opinion, do you see that we should be doing anything that we're not already doing?
Pushing back on charter.
No, let me
Yeah, well, I'm saying is I don't think charter should be able to dictate at this point now that he cannot be working in that facility.
I think we all agree on that, but do you think of anything that we can do about that we haven't done or are doing? I'm just trying to brainstorm here. Well, hang on.
Well, I can't say one or the other at this point.
Okay, Bob?
We should get together with Bill August to work it on it with him. And I think you were saying under contract until October. No, we're under contract until the end of the license. The license specifies studio and person.
Agreed.
I don't
Refresh
know,
my
I don't know
memory.
what documentation or agreements we have. I've been saying for all the years that I've been talking about this thing down here, that we had to negotiate an amendment to the license to cover the change, and no one ever did that.
Well, okay, well, we're here now, so
Yes,
we can't be
But-
looking back.
But
Okay,
now's
so,
the time to do it.
so now's where we are.
Yeah.
So your feeling is that we should be opening some sort of negotiation strictly about him?
Well, about agreeing.
The position.
That they're not gonna, that we're out of the studio and we're not paying for it, and about him.
Does it make sense, just devil's advocate, does it make sense to have that discussion with them now or wait until October?
No, no.
Because will they turn around and say, well, October, everything changes?
No, I don't know. I don't know what they'll say, but unless we ask them, we won't find out.
I kind of agree with Bob, or we really should get with Bill August and have him dive into this whole subject about, that money being done, what's happening with Chris, that type of thing. Because right now, everything's up in the air. If you want to know the truth, I don't care if we have Chris maybe 2-3 days a week. The only thing, as far as I'm concerned, we really need Chris for is because he knows our systems.
No, that's
Okay.
no excuse. That's no excuse, all right? And we're going in negotiation with Spectrum Charter for our new license.
That's-
Why start kicking and poking at the bear now?
Because that's a year round.
But we're gonna start negotiations
We can
now.
say, this is a change in the current license.
My opinion is, if we have what we need, and they're not gonna charge us for them, and we can capture more money, then we do it.
We'll know that in October for sure?
No.
As far as I know, as far as I'm concerned, is if Chris ain't coming with us, we shouldn't be paying for Chris.
That's right.
Oh, for sure.
And,
Okay.
and the license says that we should be.
As of now, though. No,
I'll tell you what I'll do. Tell you what I'll do. Why don't Bob and I, because we're gonna have that conference call,
I was just gonna mention that.
we're gonna have the
I
conference
can't take
call,
credit for
and
that?
we're gonna bring his benefits up, and I call benefits his pay. And if we're, and then we will report back here in September, and say what Bill says. If we're not being, and maybe we shouldn't be charged right now. I don't know. But Bob and I will get that question answered, and we'll report back.
Yeah, just heated up all of a sudden. Okay.
Okay. When are you meeting with them?
We don't know. We put an email in to request a conference call. He's been on vacation. He's been very good. He's been answering our emails and phone calls, even when he's on vacation.
who's
So-
this you're talking to?
So it'll,
John Marr, our government
so
representative.
it'll clearly be,
It'll be in
it'll
the
be
next
conducted
week or
before the
so.
next meeting,
Yeah,
which is still before October, so.
yeah. So I say we put it on the table. like Rick said, I said, Bob said, you haven't said anything, and I know where you two stand. If we need him 4 times a year and we can get him 4 times a year, or if we have an emergency that we need to get somebody to go to the front end or the head end, then we're good. That's what I've been hearing from the people that work there.
Yeah, my opinion has changed, because I really thought that we couldn't get along without him, but I've been wrong. So, I've been wrong before, and I live with that perfectly well, so.
Since the beginning of this, I've wanted to, what is he doing, and I couldn't get into that.
Well, because
I-
other people were talking.
No, but I wasn't allowed to get in at all,
Someone knew
on
what they were doing.
on that theme. My sense has always been that he had more of a focus on the public access people, the people who come in for public access, bringing people in, helping them, encouraging them. And I think that's a role, we've talked about public access falling off, and it's partly, if we're not, we need to do more.
Well, if it's been falling off, it's been falling off before we moved here.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can hang our hats on that.
No,
So,
but I don't think giving up the person who's good at it, or who has always been into that, is gonna be beneficial.
Well, let's see what we come out with in this,
Yeah.
in this conversation.
All I know is he's sitting on his ass back at 296 South Providence Road doing absolutely nothing, and we're paying for it.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
I want that to stop.
All right, let's move on. The architect errors versus the change orders. Did he address that? Didn't he say he was looking at that?
Yeah, nothing's gonna happen. Take it off.
All right.
Just take it off. I don't wanna see it.
Oh, and if you don't want to see it, then we don't
Well,
want to see it.
we've
Is
tried.
that it?
We've tried.
Who
and
the hell
we've
are you?
called. I don't know who I
Chairman,
am.
you know.
We're gonna be getting, the town's gonna be getting better at that pretty soon with the other project, isn't it?
You hardly ever get any money when the architects screw up.
I know, but they,
Oh, the DPW? With all the ledge there?
well,
You'd think they-
apparently there's a lot more than that, that are problems, but yeah, the ledge, that's not our supervisor's problem, Andy, and it's not, I don't think it's the contractor's problem, it's the guy
The
that
architect.
designed, well.
He's
architect-
supposed to
the
know what's there.
architect and-
They know how to prepare the area.
The architect and his consultants probably,
Right,
who are really
exactly.
doing that. And that really, I don't know, there's a professional issue there, or, a claim.
All
I
right,
don't know,
well,
I don't know
we're-
what the other things
We're
are,
a little
but
far afield. The Windows upgrade.
Bob, did you speak to Dave?
So I sent an email off to Tightrope Support and asked them specifically if they could tell me whether or not the upgrades had been performed. And they said no. And they said that you could do them right from the laptop that slides out of the rack. And they were adamant that Only upgrade to level 7, don't upgrade to level 10. So,
Level 7? Or
level 7,
window-
they said, don't go any further than level 7.
No, level 7 of,
Windows 7.
Windows 7, don't go to Windows 10.
Windows 7 is the one that's the problem.
They said that there's an upgrade for 7. This is what he said. Do the upgrade for 7, don't go to 10. That's
But that's for an upgrade for the software that runs what?
for the laptop that's mounted in the rack for Tightrope. That's what the question was last meeting.
Because the problem is not their software running on the Windows 7 or 10 machine. The problem is that Windows 7 isn't secure. It won't, the security
Won't be
for Windows
secure
7 is
after
no
December,
longer,
right.
what's that?
Won't be secure after December.
The Tightrope system was upgraded or updated because we asked Chris to do it.
Right.
And he did it. He reported that he did it. He said it went much more smoothly than he anticipated with the help and support of Tightrope. That's done. Ancient history. The slide-out laptop, when I asked tech at support, has it been upgraded? No. Can we upgrade it? Yes. Don't do Windows 10. That's all he said.
Yeah.
End of discussion, period. He didn't say anything else.
So in January, are we gonna be able to run that laptop in the frame?
I don't know.
What does that does that laptop have an ability to reach into the insides of the
If
system?
I need to get in and delete a file that's failed, or multiple files that have failed, you log in, and you locate the file, and you delete it, and you move on.
Yeah.
It's limited access. You can't go in and change anything around. I mean, in my experience.
It should still function after December. It's just gonna lose, I'm not sure I can think of the word, but updating and,
It's gonna lose support.
exactly, that's the word, it's gonna lose support.
It's
But you're still gonna
it's
be able to
support from
use it.
Microsoft that we're worried about. It's
Yeah.
not support from Tightrope.
Yeah.
It becomes a vector for attack.
The
Backdoor
Russians,
attack.
yeah. So Tightrope is done their part.
Tightrope has done their part, Chris did his part. I can work with Dave from Coughlin and ask his advice and see what he says. I wish the technician had given me more information, but that's all he said. He said, go right ahead and update to 7 and don't go any further.
Is this something that we really wanna pound on?
I can check with Coughlin and ask him, and if he's confident in,
Okay.
that he can do it, then we'll do it.
Okay.
If it's a bigger issue and he kind of throws his hands up, we'll come back and let you know, but.
Okay.
All right, when you say upgrade to 7, the machine must be running Windows 7.
Maybe I'm not explaining it the way I need to explain it, Bob. I'm just telling you, he said, go to 7 and go no further. That's all he said.
No, but are you talking about upgrade to Windows 7? Or are you
Oh, it's
talking about?
it's already Windows 7, so
No,
but he's telling him blind, go ahead and go to 7, but don't go to 10. But we're already at 7, so we're good.
I don't understand
I
what he
think we're
was telling
talking
you.
about updates, not upgrades. I think he's talking about updates, not upgrades. So maybe there's an update to 7 that we can do that will help. But I thought we're gonna
I'm trying to
support
figure out
7
whether maybe
anymore.
the 7 and the 10 are designations of Tightrope's software that
No,
runs
what we got is
in the
that Tightrope,
laptop.
Tightrope upgraded, and we're fine with Tightrope. That's what I'm understanding, right?
Yes.
Stand by.
Stand by.
I'm gonna read you verbatim what it says.
One question. The laptop itself, is there a particular program that's installed on that is necessary to use that OS? Or is it just,
I believe
just a
it's
device
just-
to edit? I mean, could you use like Raspberry Pi or something like
I
that and
believe
do
it's
the
the
same thing?
exact same as when I go into Tightrope from my work computer to schedule.
Okay.
I believe it's the same thing as a website.
So it's
but
just-
you've got more options, you can do more.
Okay, but I mean, you could have something stripped down like Raspberry Pi or something
Yeah.
like that.
But I want
You have more options on this laptop?
more than I have, but also you might be able to do scheduling, but I wanted to, before he says this, I think the fact that you're confused means that he wasn't given, the information he was given wasn't good.
All right, here's the sentence in its entirety from Aaron Rigby, Tightrope support.
And his love
You-
with the wife Eleanor.
You can run Windows updates, not upgrades, updates on the server with the operating system that you are on. For example, if the server is running Windows 7, you can then run updates for Windows 7. Do not upgrade to Windows 10.
Okay, that's much clearer.
All right.
Except that there aren't going to be any more Windows updates in a couple of months. Windows
yeah,
7
yeah.
updates in a couple of months.
All right.
And it will present a vector into the system that's less and less secure. I don't know whether it has a path beyond the tightrope system. If it does, it can become a vector network-wide.
All right,
Being on the IT committee, we worry about that.
all right.
So
And
I'll
let us
check
know
with-
how that
I'll
works
check with
out.
David Coughlin.
So let's vector on to status of the power plugs purchase for room F.
F, that's me. Friday.
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 All right.
What's
We're putting in the floor plugs. Friday.
in here?
Yep. Here, here, there, and back there.
If you can do it in here, why can't you give us some downstairs?
What do you mean?
Well, there is some biz in the town
power.
clerk's
I don't know, I'm
office.
talking about
Oh,
power.
power?
Oh, you're talking about audio?
I'm talking power
Oh.
and audio, everything.
Yeah, but downstairs, power's a little bit of an issue at the, we've talked about it.
All right, well, it's not on the agenda. Should it be?
No.
No?
No, we don't have that kind of money anymore.
Does anyone else have
Maybe
any
do it
other
up here.
old business? Okay.
Yeah, don't you? Bro, is that new business?
You gonna let him do it?
I'm going home. I'm getting yelled at tonight. This is the second
Well,
time.
if you didn't
Pete.
keep speaking out of turn,
Second time.
two. One more and you're Dawn. Dawn. Dawn, go away, I'm no good for you. All right, publicity, the meeting with Karen Mealy is scheduled for 8:26. I do have to touch base with her again, just to make sure we firm it up. You wanted to go?
Please send me when you know when it is, in case it's possible for me to come.
Okay. Did anybody, well, what the concern was how many people, because I know Jack wanted to go. And if there's 3 of us there, that's not a quorum.
For the quorum.
4 is a quorum. Did anybody else want to go beside Jack?
Rick wanted to go, and so I bowed out.
If you're still willing to bow out, Jack, I'd like to go.
I will do that, yes.
So let me know.
And if I find out that either Bob or Rick can't go, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm on
The
that.
FCC new franchise, Bobby,
That can't be me.
Maybe that's the one.
the
you-
franchise fee?
No, it's gotta be.
We found it.
Well,
Is it the FCC letter that came out from Bill August?
That was a long, long time ago.
Bill sent
no, this recent stuff,
a lot of stuff he sent in the last couple of years.
Bill sent out a letter not long ago.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna talk about that. But there was something that came out in the news that, this online streaming, they're starting conversation on how they can charge them to get it to your local access. Problem is, everybody's cutting the cords because of these online streaming companies. So they're now have started some conversation on if we want to keep public access going, how can we charge the online streaming companies? I think that was some senator
Yeah.
that started that conversation. But
Maybe
you know what?
Markey.
At least it started.
When you say online, you mean like Netflix,
Netflix,
Hulu? Okay.
Hulu, whatever.
Okay.
I think the idea is, as more people move away from cable to over-the-top streaming, well, over-the-top, getting your television by internet instead of
Well, we know what you mean.
by cable, our revenue, the company's revenue goes down, and that means that the money that we get goes down, even though our audience doesn't.
Yes.
I don't know, it may have been Markey, because he's always in this, but who knows? I did see an article talking about finding a way, but they're going the other way. FCC's going the other way, and we've been talking about the stuff came out, and there was a letter just out about FCC said they can charge for things, and it's not clear yet what the range of things it can charge for
And
is.
I wonder, going back to charter, I wonder if they're dragging their feet over that.
That's a separate, that's month by month, how much money can we get? Separate thing from what's our
But like, if
relationship.
they were to change that, we're tied into Verizon on their contract, right?
Yep.
So maybe Charter is thinking that they want to drag their feet so that they see how this plays out, so that won't have an adverse effect on
I don't,
Charter.
on the relicensing?
Yeah,
Well, no, the relicensing is moving ahead on a normal schedule. We have, I don't know whether it's here, but, it's come around to
It is,
at least
it's
some of
coming-
us.
it's coming
Oh,
right
you said
now.
that went out to everybody. Notices of the public hearing we're supposed to have, or I guess it's the selectmen are gonna
Yep,
have,
and
not
that's,
the
let me
cable
just
committee.
head that off right now, the message I sent out to you on,
And it doesn't, I had already saw it.
August 19th.
Yeah.
From Bill August, and to this guy John, talking about the charter's responsiveness and representative event at this thing here, but basically had the attachment. The attachment was a newspaper legal advertisement for the town of Grafton for publication once before September 3rd and once before September 10th, letting them know that on September 20th, September 17th, that the Board of Selectmen hold a cable license renewal public hearing with, regarding charter, on the license that is expected to expire at September 2020. So,
Yeah, that's normal. That's the
yeah,
process.
and that's the people that are on that for us. What is it, Tim, Bob, and Bob? Who's on that?
And one member of Board of Select Board.
And that's it, one member of the select board.
And wasn't
Okay.
that
I
Spinny?
don't know who it is.
Probably Spinny.
I believe it was. I believe it was Spinning, as far as I knew.
The last email that I had from Bill August, or one of the last, I should say, he sent an article dated August 5th of this year from the National Federation of Community Broadcasters. He was confirming that the FCC voted 3-2 along party lines to change the long-standing guidelines, so the rules have officially changed. That what you were referring
Yeah,
to?
Well, no, he's talking about another thing.
Well, I was referring to that initially, but then talking about, specifically about charter, but both actually.
Well,
So the
about the
change
hearing.
is there,
It took place, yeah.
so we just don't know the fallout from it yet.
Well, just like the last meeting, we don't know what comes next. I guess we have to
Yeah.
wait and see.
If you read down through there, I think there are a few mumbly words about what the change is. They're allowed to charge for certain things. But the thing is, we don't know what the certain things are. For example, are they allowed to charge the market rate for the channels that we're using, that we
Yeah.
get for free now? That's gonna be a big deal if, because who knows how much they're gonna charge, and who
Yeah.
knows what the courts where it gets challenged will come down. So it's another one of those things that we're,
Well, you gotta think it's gonna be material for the first district, so.
what?
The first district, I would think,
First District,
Court.
for First District Court.
that's around here.
Us, yes,
No, it's national.
I know, but they can jump in. All of the district courts can jump in and.
Yeah, yeah, and then we have some of the more active, in Massachusetts, we have some of the more active access people, but who knows? I'd
That's it, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't begin to know, and it depends on who wants to bring actions.
So anything we hear now is speculation, right?
Yeah. But back to the hearing, in the past, the Cable Committee actually ran the hearing with the select,
Oh,
joint meeting with the selectmen.
those days are
But
gone.
that's apparently gone.
No,
But that's back to what Bill's saying there is back to the way it was when Bill was our cable counsel
Yeah.
before, as to
Yeah.
the nature
Well,
of the
Tim
hearing
changed
and
that.
all of
Yeah.
that. What the hearing is looking for. And it's important to come to that, providing input
yeah.
about what we need, what we want. We certainly want,
Well, if you go, I'm sure Bob will represent us well. You still like us, right? Yeah. All right.
well, it's going to be at a Board of Selectmen meeting, I believe.
So
And,
the
we
17th.
can all go.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah,
Pending any other meetings in this room, I'll be there.
just don't piss anyone off.
Wait a minute, how can I go to a meeting and,
Who am I
I mean, why don't you keep your requirements within the possible? Jim.
All right. Okay, the studio report from Chris McMullen, has anyone seen it? Aren't we paying for that?
Very brief.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I saw
I
it.
didn't see
No,
it.
there wasn't one. There wasn't one.
Was there one?
Bob, did you see
There
one?
was one. I thought I
don't
saw
No,
think I
last
saw
month.
it.
Well,
Last month was the short one.
Right. Oh, you're talking about this month?
Yeah, oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. I misspoke.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we don't pay if we don't get a report.
yeah,
Get a credit.
we better be getting a report if we're paying for that. Let us know how it's doing.
Okay,
down there.
Adjourn.
no, we have other items.
We do? What?
We have other items under items not reasonably anticipated by the chairman 48 hours in advance of the meeting. That's me. We got an email that I forwarded out to you, and I'll just mention it, from Candy, that there are 2 training opportunities coming up for ethics and the open meeting law and things like that. So if anyone wants to take advantage of that, that will be made available to you. If you haven't seen it, let me know and I'll send it to you again. So just let me know.
Yeah,
The
one of those,
other-
I believe, is being held down there in the police, upstairs
Yeah.
in the police station.
Where they did the
Been to-
last one.
Been to them, I think, twice before. It's a good thing to go to, and if you have any questions about ethical, questions, that's a much easier way to get an answer than
I've
most
never been
any other.
accused of
No,
being
Jim,
ethical.
don't bite him. Okay, I got an email from St. Mary's, and this is, what he's asking for is not gonna happen, but this is the premise. I know you're well connected with Grafton TV. We were discussing the Legacy of Hope items under audio-visual. There was a discussion about live streaming masses, especially for our homebound parishioners. Rather than spending that kind of money, I thought perhaps Grafton TV would be able to provide that service even for a nominal fee. We don't have to do all 4 masses, but perhaps start, and I have available on demand for a limited amount of time. And he goes on like that. So I wanted to let you know I got that. My response to him will be, is that no, we will not do live streaming because we don't have the capability to do live streaming. And if this is an excellent opportunity, I will tell them for someone from the parish to become certified. If they become certified, they'll be able to check out equipment and then borrow it and then set it up and put it on the air. If not, then if they want to just set up a camera and a sound system or something like that and videotape the mass, then they can give it to me, and as a citizen of Grafton, I will request that it be broadcast like on Sunday morning.
Yeah, well, anybody at the parish who's in Grafton can
Yeah.
make the request too.
But I wanted to make the
But that's
request
not
so it
streaming,
looked
that's
like I
not,
was
That's not live streaming.
No,
it's not live streaming.
No, that
But-
was the first thing. I'm gonna tell them, no, we can't live stream.
Well, why?
We don't have a drop there.
Yeah, but if somebody put a drop in, either they,
No, they're not gonna put a drop in.
well, but,
They don't understand the concept.
well,
of it.
okay,
I
but
barely
you
understand.
explain it to them.
Yeah.
That in
No,
order to
I
do,
will.
in
I
order to
just
do a
wanted to-
live stream,
Okay, I just wanted to let you know that I got this.
Yeah.
I have not responded to them at all, but what I wanted to do was to say out loud how I was gonna respond to them until someone says, no, Jim, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like I'd never heard that before.
yeah.
No, the point is-
because it's largely a technical question.
Yeah.
So basically, what I'm gonna tell them is that, I'm gonna first recommend that someone take the production course, and then they can use our equipment, or, someone should, record it, and then,
Yeah,
we'll
after the
fill up
fact,
the
yeah.
paperwork to do that.
Now, were they asking for one of us to go down and film it, or?
They were looking to get anything they could get.
Okay.
Yeah, because that historically is one of the things that public access supported.
Yeah, 'cause it
Not
says-
some, we supported playing back recorded
Yeah.
stuff, because I remember doing it when we were in this building so many years, in whatever that was, 89, thereabouts.
All right, I don't want to get held up again. I've got 3 more items. Number 1 of the 3 is, not that you were looking up or anything, but blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
but I'm talking about church.
We've got an estimate that I sent out to everyone for the green screen. Has everyone had a chance to review that?
Well, I guess I sent a message to Bob. I had a couple of questions.
So Bob's question was, what was the size of the
my
green
computer's down.
screen
Well,
in the quote versus the curtains that's down there right now? that what you were
let's say, one of the sections, I think all three sections down there are the same size. What's the size of the old ones and what's the size of the
So
new
I
ones?
measured the old ones, and they are 8 foot in height, 41 inches long. The panel that Jonathan Lipsey, our lighting consultant, dropped us off today. The new green screen panel that he's recommending in the quote is 11 feet 2 inches tall, 41 inches,
41 feet.
wide.
So the length is the same in both
It's
cases?
the same, it would
Now,
just be taller.
how far, what are the lengths of the walls that it could be used against? Do you know?
Well, the back wall on this side, when you stretch it out to its length, it covers the entire back wall and turns the corners.
How far around the corners?
I'm sorry?
How far around the corners?
Maybe the distance of the door?
Well,
Just-
really,
just a little bit.
We've only got one camera that can do green screen though, right?
No, actually,
Should all be
no,
able to do it.
no, the whole, it's a tricky thing to do, because when you switch cameras, you have to switch the background. Now, I don't know what capability we have in this switcher. I know what
No,
some
it's-
others can
As
do.
long as you set it up on the broadcast pics to say, when you see green, put this up. No matter what camera you switch to, it's gonna remember that.
I thought we could
Yeah,
only
but-
do it on one.
But what you want to do is, and there are systems, you know, everything you can imagine exists in some of the systems. You say, when camera one is up, this is the background. When camera two is up, that's the background.
Yeah, you can do that, yeah.
All right, what were you gonna
You
say,
can do
Bob?
that, okay, so you can use all three cameras to do green screen. We couldn't on the old, on the old system down at the studio.
That's what I was thinking.
And you
but-
you can make them all show one image as well.
Yeah, but you don't, that's almost, unless all three cameras are sitting in the same place, that's not a good idea.
Then why would you have them all in the same place, right?
Why?
Yeah.
You want to have what would be behind Jim on that side and what would be behind, so-and-so on this side, different things behind them. And that's,
See, that at least you remembered my name,
yeah,
Jim and then so-and-so.
yeah, well,
What
but,
were you telling me, Bob?
I tell you lots of things, Jim.
I thought we could only do it on one camera.
Well, at one time, we had only one camera set up for green screen. We had camera number 2 set up for green screen. I suppose we had to make some switches in the camera itself to go green screen.
No.
Then why we couldn't?
it's something you
It's in the
punched up
pics. It's in the
on
broadcast
the
pics.
switcher.
What does this matter? Why can't we just vote on this thing?
All right,
Because questions were raised. And I'm trying to get to a question.
what do you got? What's
Well,
your question?
I'm working on this. When you're using more than one camera, then, I think we could, then you need a green screen that goes all the way behind all the shots. And what he's saying is, it's not real good across the back wall or whatever wall it is, and just a little bit on the sides. But can't you come around so that you use, the bright angle?
So when Jonathan installed the lighting in the room, which took
Which I want to see.
a day and a half, he set it up so that everything was shot, everything was lit in one direction. He said, I set the room up so that it's good to go for green screen. Then the discussion came up about, what about this, what about that? How do you do it with one camera, how do you do it with more than one camera? Jonathan said, the 41-foot green screen that goes around the corners will solve the problem of the cameras on the angles
Oh, all right.
shooting the corners. And like Jack just said, the image will appear on the entire green screen. So, if we make this purchase, I only sent this to the members so that they could see it. We don't need to buy it tonight. We can buy it next month. Just wanted the members to see that this was an item that would be on the wish list going forward. We can buy it September, we can buy it October. Jonathan's plan was to get rid of those panels that we painted the chroma key green. 41-foot curtain will give us the capability of the
All right.
entire
So
room,
you want to put this on the agenda for next month?
if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Can I
You're getting another 3.5 feet of height.
Right.
Because I've seen the picture, and even though they were okay for us in the old days, they're,
Well, his
They're too
concern,
short.
his concern at the end of the install was that we have so much room going this way. He said that when you bring the cameras way back to the window, you're gonna see over the curtain. And I said, Jonathan, if we interview somebody and they're seated in these two chairs, what makes you think the camera's gonna be way back there? It's gonna be up here.
yeah,
I mean, we might put the camera back there if we had a choir.
right. Yeah, green screen wise, but
Well,
we've
no,
had.
just generally
Yeah,
speaking.
but because we have had things where it was a big group.
Right.
And the only way to get the group in
It was to push the camera
is
back,
to,
right.
is to open up, well, is,
From,
yeah, 16, well, 4 by 3 in those days, or even 16 by 9.
So we pushed the camera back and centered it on the set with the two chairs. And he realized, oh, you can't see over the curtain. I mean, literally had to tilt the camera up to see over the curtain. So he was
On,
satisfied
on the widest shot,
on the wide shot, yeah.
Okay, good. We'll,
well, over the existing curtain.
Yeah.
so let's,
I
we'll-
still, whether it's worth looking and doing, I've thought it would be. Now, I haven't been in the studio to see what it actually looks like.
I'll
but-
go in the studio.
Oh,
with
are
this in your
you,
hand.
well, how? I don't have,
We'll let you in. We'll give you a special pass.
well, I'm supposed to have a key.
Oh, don't be
But way
pushing.
back, yeah, remember I was gonna have a key.
Yeah, don't push it.
Yeah, what?
Don't push it. I don't have a key. If I don't have a key,
Yeah, no,
one has
but I'm the I'm the,
All right.
no,
Two more items. What I was thinking I would like to do, if I have your permission, I would like to get a list from you of people who were essential in this entire move operation from top down, and send them a thank you letter on our stationery. How do you feel about that?
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
I'm sure Bob and Bob can help you with that.
I'll take care of it. So what I will ask all of you to do is between now and next month, if you think there are people who should be, I've already got 5 people on here, and if you think that there are people that should be given that little shot in the arm, I think it's the very least we could do. So if you would email me and let me know, I'd appreciate it.
is the chief on there?
The chief is on there.
That's the only one I can think of right now.
Yep. Last item is the,
You see that list?
chief. That was the thing there. The .com type thing, and I just wanted to remind everyone, a year ago, or a year and a half ago, when Tim was in here, and we went through the discussion about our being put on the town website and everything like that. Tim said at the time that he would pay our fees for the ones that were out there for another year, which he did, and that's run out. So that's why, in case anyone has contacted you about the old .com or org things and things like that, why those aren't working. So we need to really re-educate folks who already have hookups there, that it's gotta go through either Facebook or YouTube or through the town to get to the website.
What people don't understand is what a domain name is and what it costs. The domain name that he threw away, graftontv.org, costs like $15 a year. I mean, it's cheap. It's a registration. It has nothing to
I
do.
understand how it works.
It has, well, apparently not. It has nothing to do.
I know how it works.
It has nothing to do with where the site is hosted or any of that. It has to do with how people find their way there.
I
All over
understand
the
that, but we knew this was coming.
No. He wanted to move, he wanted to take control of the site and to move the content over to the town, to
That was
virtual
part of
town
it,
hall.
too.
But that's got nothing to do with the branding. He has other things on the website that have unique domains which also reach them. I think the economic development, for example, and there are a couple of others that I've seen that have their own domain names that take you there. As it is, and that was, I've been sending him that, you know, this was happening, and that it was not a good idea. Any place that anybody ever finds one of those links, now, you know, like all over the internet, stuff is stored with graftontv.org/whatever to find a video, doesn't work anymore.
Right.
And so when they click it, it's broken. And it's not easy to find it, even if you knew enough to go to graftonma. Blah, 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 and try to drill down. You know, it used to be that it was on the, that you could have a link right on the, or there was a link right on the homepage, but now that's gone away, and you have to drill down to even find Grafton Access. But the cost is next to nothing.
But the fact of the matter is that whenever something new happens, there's a learning curve. When that graftontv.org first came out, there was a learning curve. So what we need to do is to be supportive of how people can reach us and make sure that, again, with the publicity thing, okay, that's one of the things that's on the forefront of my mind, is that we need to get out there and let people know how they can reach us online.
Yeah, well, that's fine, but you look around to other towns, and they have the same kind of branding that we had. MilfordTV.org or
Yep.
whatever. That's a good branding. We work to get it. It doesn't cost us anything to have it. It still goes to Tim's website. And it was going to Tim's website.
But it's not anymore.
Well, but maybe it should, and there's still a
But
chance.
we had that discussion a year ago.
No, we didn't. We didn't have a discussion about.
First of all, don't you ever raise your voice to me again. Secondly, you can raise your voice if you're kidding with me, but anger, I will not tolerate. Number two, what I would invite you to do is to go back and have another look at the meeting when Tim came out, and I think what you'll see is that he discussed this. You brought up the same comments. As a matter of fact, I'm sure I can thumb through here and I can tell you when it was, but you had the same comments to him that you have, that you've been making right now, and yet the decision was made.
No, I don't know that the decision was made to get rid of the domain name. There was definitely the decision to take the website
Right.
and put it on the town website.
Right.
And that decision was made. There was no decision made to get rid of the domain name.
All right, then maybe we both need to have a look at it, because I seem to remember it clearly. So,
Because it's very important to me and to us. I was okay with, well, I was reasonably okay with the other two domain names. At the time, we took graftontv.com and graftontv.
I think the issue was a decision to remove it versus to throw it away. And I don't think we ever wanted to throw it away, just it's basically, because it's very valuable.
For next to nothing.
okay, but
We can have that. And I'm pretty sure that Tim doesn't have the slightest idea what we're talking about. I mean, no one, hardly anybody does, because that's all internet in the weeds.
was I chair?
No,
No, you
I
were
don't
chair
even know whether you were here.
I'm
Well,
not
you
sure
may
if I
have
was
been.
chair or not.
when he was here. I'm trying to think, I think I was sitting over there.
I wasn't chair.
I think it might have
Were
been
you
you.
chair?
Because I'm going back to September 9th, 2018. This month's cable meeting will be held at Bob Hassinger's house. Just kidding.
2019, I think you were.
18.
2018, I mean.
18 you were.
All right, I'll find it.
Well, with 2018, in June of 2018, or July of 2018, we had a new,
Reorg.
reorg, and that's when he
June?
became chair, and now we just went through another reorg, and he's chair again.
Since I've been on the board, when my first meeting you reorganized, or a meeting or two in, it went from rec to gym, and that was in mid 2018. I don't know.
All
But-
blur.
Normally you reorganize in July.
In July. I wanted to say, you're saying that GraftonTV.org is gone, doesn't go to
Except,
anything.
except that there's an opportunity to get it back.
I went to it and it just brings up that like list of ads and
Right,
related.
exactly.
But I just checked and apparently it says it's not available, so it's still.
That's right.
Oh.
I've been getting, see, I get the notices because I'm the one who paid the bills every year and then
Yeah.
got reimbursed. And I'm the one who got us those domain names.
You're a wonderful man.
And
No,
you're interrupting
I-
in the middle of my little time on the floor.
Okay.
What was I saying?
You were the ones that, that did all the historical.
Yeah, well, no, but that was,
Domain names. You still own that domain? No.
no,
Domain name.
but it's still, right now, I'm getting notices, do you want it back? And we could still say, yes, we want it back.
Yeah.
And then we can get it pointed to wherever Tim wants it, or Virtual Town Hall wants it pointed, which would hopefully be our top page.
Our department page.
On the Virtual Town Hall. And I've forgotten what the price is, but it's not much.
I just saw one that said $13 when I
Yeah,
was
well,
looking
this,
it up.
this is .org, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's cheap.
Yeah, I just
$15.
I just went on domain.com. It's a 13, but we already, from what I'm hearing, we have it. We just have to repay for it.
Well, it's, unless we act real soon, it'll be gone. It won't, we won't have a chance to get it back without having to compete with other people.
Why don't you
who
give
might wanna-
Tim a call and see if he wants to reconsider?
I had email with him. Someone else is gonna talk to him. I mean, he won't talk to me about,
It's such a small expenditure, why is it that we can't just decide to just hang on to
Can't
it?
do that.
what?
You just said we should just do it.
It's only a
I know, but is
Yeah,
that
but
what you
no,
just said?
but it's the hierarchy.
Right,
If he
we
said,
can't
I
just
don't wanna
buy
do
it.
that,
It's
you
not
know,
like buying a
But you know
pencil.
what? I could buy that and get it pointed to the place, and there's nothing he could do about it.
You could, but you're not gonna get reimbursed for it.
That's what if it's $15 a year, well, I could do it for any amount of money that I have, but
Yeah.
15's
I don't know if there's
getting
a
a little
policy,
steep.
I don't know if there's a policy or not on that.
It doesn't matter. He can't make a policy about what the internet does. This is an old story from the day one with domain names. It's gotten kind of more under control over the years, but
Do you want us to
I go back to the beginning.
Don't.
So I'll go back and find that episode. Can you tell me how to get to that website?
What website?
Where the listing of it is?
Oh,
Sorry.
our stuff used to be
GraftonTV.org.
posted on our old website, like, I think even minutes.
Yeah,
But
I'll find it.
we don't have that anymore.
I'll find it. Now we'll take your, does anyone else have anything?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion
Is that
made and
debatable,
seconded.
Mr. Chairman?
It is not debatable, Mr. Hassan. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are off the clock.